This show explores graphic and disturbing stories and includes strong language. It may not be suitable for young audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Coffin Chronicle,
where we unearth stories about true crime, mysteries, and paranormal events that happen right here in the Philippines.
all while doing our makeup. This is inspired by the beauty gurus that paved the way by mixing the two things that we love the most, crime and concealer. So I'm Sha.
And I'm Nick, so let's get into the story. So today I'm going to tell you about Juan Severino Mallari. And this story is set in 18th century Philippines. So of course, since sobrang luma na ng story, medyo mahirap na makahanap ng multiple references to see if anything's accurate. So, si Juan, galing siya sa Macabebe, Pampanga. He's a Thomasian, so it means he went to UST. Nag-aaral siya para maging pare. He was known as one of the few Kapampangan priests that were like very good at calligraphic drawing, or alam mo yung mga ginagawa ng scribes noon, yung parang at the side of the paper, para may mga doodles.
Right.
The doodles, grabe yung doodles. Wait lang. Mga drawing sila.
The early doodles.
Yeah, the early version of the doodles. Basta yun yung mga, yun yung ginagawa ng art. As a priest, like, they had to do yung scribe work. So, of course, part of that, kapag nila yung document. So, yun yung ginagawa niya.
Doodler, okay. Noted.
Yeah, no, like calligraphic artist. Okay, let's put a good name on it. So, as a calligraphic artist, yung pinaka-main artworks niya was mostly like cherub, small angels that were kind of butt naked and just floating around.
Yeah.
And also like mga flowers. This isn't really like important to the story, but it was cute to find out. So after going to university and everything, he graduated, of course, and then after being ordained in 1809, he served in like different parishes and like churches in the Philippines, but I'm not sure exactly where. Although there was some mention, like for example, like he applied to be pastor sa Orani and also Mariveles and also Bubao, but he was rejected in all of those areas. Not sure why.
Yun na sabihin sana, how can you be rejected?
I don't know.
What is the reason for you to be rejected?
Well, find out soon, I guess. Oh, he also tried to apply at sa Kristana, tapos na-rejected siya.
What?
But, yeah.
Usually sa Kristan, mga bata di ba? Parang, as long as you are, at least to my knowledge, as long as you're,
yeah.
Oh, right, ibang taon pala to. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so like this is 1800s Philippines, where like most of the time, yung mga nagsiserve po sa church were all Spanish. And,
Fraile.
Yeah.
Huh, so maybe that's the reason why they declined him.
Hindi malaya mangyari. Anyway, another 6 years to finally be accepted as the parish priest in Magalang, Pampanga. Yes, so he went back to his old town. Well, not his actual old town, but he went back to Pampanga. And then he became well known in that area kasi he was like the first Filipino priest in that town.
Yeah, so a lot of people were attending, or at least Filipinos were attending his masses.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, like, they're proud that there was some actual Filipino representation.
Yeah, and tiga Pampanga din, di ba? So,
siya pa yung naging first parish priest. Pero it was also around this time, nagkasakit yung mom niya. So like over time, she gets like really ill, and then like there's no records kung ano ba talaga naging sakit niya. Pero may mga mention din na baka nakulam daw yung nanay niya. And then all of these weird things started happening. Like over the 10 years that he was serving in Pampanga. Yes, his mom didn't get better, and then it was said that his psychosis was getting relatively worse. By psychosis, meaning parang his brain wasn't processing information clearly anymore, so it caused him to hear things, see things that was different from reality. Yeah, him. Like siya mismo, like parang was getting ill then. Parang his psychosis was getting worse and worse daw. Yeah.
Siguro parang nasa stress na rin talaga siya na parang ang tagal kong naghanap ng church na pwede kong pagsilbihan, and then now my mom's sick.
Yeah, and then like parang it's been 10 years and parang his mom isn't getting better. They don't know how to treat it. I mean, like, medicine wasn't that great. It was even worse kasi hindi nga nila alam kung paano. And then they were just thinking that baka kulang na to. Also, like, during that time, like, for such a small town, ang daming namamatay. Nawawalang tao na lang, tapos nakikita nila like in some place. At that time period, they recorded around like 57 people that became victim to whatever this was. I haven't found any records kung paano sila namatay. And of course, because the town was so small, it was very mind-blowing na sobrang tagal na ng period and they couldn't find who the killer was. One day, si Juan, he got very ill, and I'm not sure like if this was if yung sakit niya na to, parang yung psychosis getting worse and worse, or if it was another sickness like maybe or something, malagnat, oo. Pero he got really ill to the point na parang first siya nakapasok, hindi niya maalagaan yung sarili niya. So, there was another... Yeah.
Sorry. So, ano pa rin siya? Nagmimisa pa rin siya kahit nalaman na may psychosis siya or something?
Yeah, I think so. Kasi he was there for like 10 years. And then like throughout that time, I don't think like parang it was instant. Baka parang gradual yung ano niya. Yung
napapansin na iba yung ugali.
Yeah. So I think he was still the parish priest. So anyway, yung illness niya, he got to a point that he needed someone to help him. So there was another like attending priest that gave him medicine, gave him food. One day, nag-aayos siya ng gamit ni Juan. And then he noticed items na not sure nakatago or nakakalat. Pero basta may nakita siyang mga gamit na dugo-dugo. So of course, na-alert siya or parang pinabahan siya. He alerted the police and told them about what
yan
he
kasi,
saw. Hindi niya alam ng gamit.
Kung hindi niya pinakaalaman yun, sana wala siya makikitang nakakagulat or nakakatakot for him, di ba? Minsan talaga yung pagiging pakailamera. Hindi niya magaling masyado. Huwag ganun, guys, ha? Huwag tularan.
So, we're back with the foundation. I had to do it off camera. But, just picking up on the story, yung mga Spanish authorities, they just brought him to jail. Even if it was like kind of already known na may signs siya of mental illness or mental instability, hindi man lang siya dinala sa institution.
Mental hospital.
Yeah.
Alam mo, I just realized, di ba kasi dati, grabe pa rin yung mistreatment sa mga Filipino.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the reason why they didn't even bother to bring him to any institution kasi parang to them, like, yeah, let's just leave him there. Pero for sure, if it was a Spaniard, it will be just brushed off.
Parang mga theories. I think it's really part of history na the Spanish didn't really want, at least yung Spanish na sa Philippines, parang didn't really want yung Filipinos to learn how to speak Spanish or read, write in Spanish para hindi makausad and like they couldn't.
Yeah,
parang magiging subservient ka na lang na.
Hindi nila ka-level.
Yeah, ganun. So, moving on with the story, dinala siya to jail instead of a mental institution. And at that time, being that it was the 1800s na, parang there were records na 1400s pa lang may mga mental institutions na sa Spain. So being, colonized by the Spaniards, or at least I'm assuming, didn't fact check this, I'm sorry. But I'm assuming that there could have been at least one mental institution in the Philippines some time na yun. They could have put him there first before just putting him in jail. Kasi right after that, he got sentenced to death, but then he had to stay in jail for another 40 years. So before going to that, yeah.
I mean, if they're gonna kill him anyways, why wait for 40? I was thinking sa bagay ngayon din naman gano'n, na parang, di ba maraming nakapila sa death row?
So yun.
Yeah, I think.
Or like more part of torture na rin na tipong, like sit there, rot there, think about what you did kind of thing.
Parang you have to serve your sentence first before we even decide to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah, naintindihan ko naman. Kasi parang, at the end of the day, it's still murder, di ba? And
50 plus people.
Exactly, parang hindi lang isang tao, di ba? Kaya has to serve his sentence. But at the same time, it's just sad na imbes tulungan siya, even before it came to that point. Parang hinayaan lang na, okay, sige, may problema siya sa pag-iisip niya, let's just let him be.
And also, I think even to this day, di ba, parang medyo fuzzy pa rin yung knowledge natin about the human mind, insanity. So, really don't know much about it. Na tipong, hindi, baka ganyan talaga siya.
Na hindi naman din nila agad na-detect na it's mental health.
Yeah. And then, like, of course, pari pa siya, right? Especially during those times. And until now pa naman, there's that level of respect that people hold towards that person.
Right. Yung parang, hindi ngayon lang yan, pinagdadaanan lang yan. Hanggang sa
It gets worse.
nakasanayan nila.
Yeah.
Na parang, well, he's just that type of person. Parang nagiging gano'n na lang versus yung parang, I think we should really help him.
Yeah. So, first let's go to the two ways they thought of how he could have gone about the killing, and then we'll talk about why. So first is they thought that he could have organized all the crimes, talk to people, ask them na, okay, sige, damputin mo si Ganog, or pick up some random person in the street. So the second way that people thought he might have committed the crime was by acting alone, because medyo known na he was mentally unstable. They speculated na hindi niya kaya makipag-coordinate into parang extensive detail and just trust anyone with his secret and make sure that they didn't tell anyone about what he was doing.
Yeah, yun nga yun eh. Parang yung risk of having more people know what he's doing.
Yeah.
So parang weird na they would even think na, okay, meron siyang kasabwat dito.
Mm-hmm. At saka hindi, parang for the longest time, 10 years, that's such a long time to keep a secret from someone if in case they were hiring you or they were telling you to do all of these things with them.
And hindi naman siya yung simple work eh. You're killing someone.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just hey, go get this, bili ka ng kamatis sa store. Hindi siya ganun eh. Parang, wala ko naisip eh. Kasi hindi siya something simple. Na parang, kunin mo nga ito doon. It's getting a freaking person off the street para patayin ka, di ba? Ang hirap isipin na ganun. But then again, there were a lot of mafias and stuff. But it was organized eh. Parang meron silang maraming tauhan to make people do what they're told. And unlike him, iisang tao lang siya. What kind of
right, and is he even rich to pay these people, the alleged people that he is working with, or at least hiring? Because that's the only reason if they're being paid a huge amount of money, then he's a priest, so I'm guessing na wala namang malaking sweldo. Kasi ngayon, di ba, ganun naman yun. Technically, wala naman talagang sweldo ang pare. They just have allowances.
Yeah, alam ko parang allowances or it's based on the alms that people give in church. I don't know if they changed that anytime recently or something. Pero yun yung pagkakaalam ko. And I think it was the same din noon. Also, speculated na kaya niya ginawa yung mga yun in the first place was because kinulam yung nanay niya. Sabi tao that there was some sort of belief na if makapagpatay siya ng tao, makakatulong yung sa pagpagaling ng nanay niya. I don't know how kulam works, but
let's just say na fine, totoo, ganyan. So, ang sabi, di ba, basta pumatay siya ng tao, almost around 50 nga yung pinatay niya eh. So, supposedly, tama na.
Some point, di ba, kahit mga 5, mga 10, mga I don't know, basta halfway through, you're nakakatulong nga ba to sa nanay ko? Parang hindi naman.
Parang hindi naman gumagana. So, baka dapat itigil ko. Find other ways. Hindi yung tuloy ko lang. Hanggat hindi gumagana, tuloy ko lang.
In my head, I was thinking na parang it's just an excuse for him to do it. Alam mo, because it sounds like that. 50 people yung namatay doon. Hindi mo ba na-realize na wala nangyayari? Really. It's just kind of messed up. So, putting that context in the story, I feel like he really was losing it. Naging excuse na lang niya yung kulam sa nanay niya and trying to get her better to satisfy either those urges or just make an excuse for why he did it. But anyway, he was in prison for 14 years and then he was finally sentenced and hanged to death in 1840. And then this was about 32 years before they hanged Pomborza, yung sa father Gomez. Yeah, before. So technically, siya yung pinakaunang priest na Filipino that got hanged and sentenced to death by the Spanish colonial government. So he has a lot of firsts actually. Parang hindi niya lahat ng first. The first Filipino.
Ang pangit naman ng first. Yeah.
So, naging first Filipino priest siya sa Magalang, and then naging first recorded ever serial killer in the Philippines, and then siya rin yung first na nahang na priest in the Philippines.
Okay. Minsan hindi rin maganda yung first eh.
First ka.
Oo. Minsan okay din na you're following someone else.
Well, maybe not. Maybe not in this case. Kasi the daming serial killer.
Yeah. Except that. You know what? Scrap it.
Yeah, basta wag. Wag. Not in this
Yeah.
scenario. Yun, and that's
Yeah.
the end of the story.
So like one of the question that I have in mind is like, do you guys think na all of this could have been avoided should someone help him with his mental issues? Kasi diba, early on na-realize naman ng mga tao na parang, okay, there's something wrong with him. So, tingin niyo ba kung natulungan siya agad nung napansin na may mali na sa kanya, hindi na mangyayari to? Or is it parang destined for him to do this? Kasi parang yung frustration niya na hindi gumagaling yung mom niya.
And then always being rejected by the church, and he just wanted to serve, so parang that was also kind of tragic. Yeah, like my take is that I feel like because of the timing kung kailan to nangyari, I'm not sure like how far along they were in discovering mental health, illness, and like cures and how they can help people. Pero maybe it wouldn't have helped. I mean, because I've also read stories na like yung ginagawa nila sa mental asylum, you can write it off as torture.
Yung parang may electric shock. Ginagawa.
Yeah, that was just one. Like, parang they're gonna bathe people in ice cold water, and they're gonna shock them, and then they're gonna isolate them for like so long. So parang I don't know then like if that time period would have helped him. Alam mo yun, parang masasabi nila na parang they put him in a mental institution, pero I doubt they're gonna really do anything to help.
Or at least like he'll be just in one space versus he can freely like walk around and like commit murder eventually. But I guess yung thinking and the treatment to Filipinos at that time was also a huge factor, I think. Kasi parang we're obviously like at those times we're really secondary to the Spaniards. So yung mga needs natin, it's brushed off. It's not really seen as a need. Yung ngayon na parang arte lang. Ngayon, if you feel bad or you're down or you have anxiety, usually yung sinasabi ng mga elders, parang arte lang yan, itulog mo lang, or gutom ka lang. Parang it's always just brushed off as something na you can just easily get over with. So, I think that's also the case before.
Yeah, yung ngayon na nga lang nagsastruggle tayo with like wrapping our heads around all those issues. Yung dati pa kaya where they were just starting to find out about all of these things. So, alright, so let us know what you think. You thought that putting him in a mental institution instead of jail could have helped him, or finding out about his mental health issues and then keeping an eye on him could have prevented all of the deaths from happening in the first place. And lastly, do you believe in kulam, or this thing they call black magic?
Share your thoughts with us. Comment down below. Ano sa tingin niyo yung mga sagot or naiisip niyo about the questions of Nyx? And let us know what stories you want to hear next on Coffin Chronicles PH, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
And if you want to hear more stories about true crime, mysteries, and paranormal events that happen right here in the Philippines, subscribe to Coffin Chronicles PH on YouTube. Until next time!
Bye!